HOA Karen's fake HOA cops smashed by dog's Gnome-Wrecking revenge. The clock ticks past 10:30 p.m. in Sunny Meadows, a suburban fortress where every lawn is sculpted to HOA perfection and every mailbox bows to the sacred shade of slate gray. You're slumped on your couch, Muffin, your 5-year-old golden retriever, sprawled across your lap. His snores a soft counterpoint to the true crime documentary droning on your TV. A half-eaten slice of pizza sits on the coffee table, and you're nursing a glass of iced tea when a piercing siren tears through the quiet like a chainsaw. Red and blue lights flood your living room, painting jagged shadows across the walls. Your heart leaps into your throat, and Muffin bolts upright, growling, his floppy ears perked. You stumble to the window, peeling back the blinds, and freeze. A battered sedan sits crookedly in your driveway, its hood defaced with a spray-painted Sunny Meadows HOA Patrol logo and a cheap siren speaker duct-taped to the grill, wailing like a wounded animal. A hulking figure in a mismatched security uniform, badge dangling like a loose earring, boots so oversized they slap the pavement, storms toward your door, pounding with enough force to rattle the hinges. "Open up," he roars, his voice raw and unhinged. "You're evicted by order of the HOA. You and that mutt have 1 hour to get out, or I'm dragging you out in cuffs." Your mind races. Evicted? For what? You've paid your dues, kept your lawn pristine, followed every rule in the HOA's labyrinthine rulebook. Muffin's growls deepen, his hackles raised. You glance across the street and spot her. Karen, the neighborhood's HOA dictator, lurking behind a lamppost, her bleach-blonde bob catching the streetlight, her binoculars glinting as she smirks like a cartoon villain. Porch lights flare up and down the block, curtains twitch, and whispers ripple through the night. This isn't a mistake. This is Karen's war, and you're her target. The drama's about to detonate, and Sunny Meadows is the battleground. Sunny Meadows is a suburban mirage, sold as community bliss, but simmering with gossip and HOA-fueled power struggles. Its 72 houses, each a beige clone of the next, are governed by an HOA rulebook so dense it could double as a blunt weapon, with edicts on everything from grass height, 2.5 inches, no exceptions, to mailbox sheen, Pantone, 445C, polished weekly. You've lived here for 2 years, a graphic designer who works late and keeps your modest home HOA compliant. Your only act of defiance? Muffin, your golden retriever, whose boundless energy and soulful eyes make him the block's beloved mascot. Kids sneak him treats. Mrs. Delgado, the kind-hearted retiree across the street, knits him seasonal bandanas, and even Mr. Patel, the grumpy ex-engineer next door, tosses him a tennis ball during his evening walks. But to Karen, Muffin's a walking war crime. Karen, 53, widowed, and the HOA's self-appointed overlord, rules Sunny Meadows like a suburban despot. Her corner lot at Meadow Lane is a monument to her control, a lawn so pristine it looks vacuumed, a mailbox that gleams like a mirror, and a squadron of garden gnomes she treats like royalty. She's fined a single mom for a non-compliant bird feeder, reported a teenager's skateboard ramp as a public menace, and once tried to ban Christmas lights for excessive wattage. Her clipboard is her throne, her notebook a ledger of neighbors' sins, and her daily patrols, fanny pack stuffed with measuring tape, decibel meter, and a laser pointer for precision enforcement, are the stuff of nightmares. Karen's feud with Muffin ignited 14 months ago on a blistering July day. You were in your backyard, tossing Muffin's favorite squeaky ball, when he spotted Sir Gnome-Wrecking, Karen's prized garden gnome, perched near her fence like a ceramic sentinel. In a burst of puppy joy, Muffin charged, knocking the gnome into a sprinkler. The gnome survived with a chipped hat, but Karen's ego took a fatal hit. She stormed over, her face redder than Mrs. Delgado's heirloom tomatoes, screaming about vandalism and reckless pet ownership. You apologized, offered to replace the gnome, even sent her a $50 gift card to Gnome Depot. She refused, her eyes blazing. "That mutt will pay," she hissed, stomping back to her gnome shrine. Since then, Karen's been a one-woman crusade against Muffin. Her notebook, which Zoe, the 17-year-old tech prodigy next door, once glimpsed at a garage sale, is a manifesto of obsession, with entries like 6:12 a.m., Muffin barked once, disrupting my sunrise meditation, and 3:47 p.m., Muffin's tail wagged menacingly, potential threat to Gnome's safety. You thought it was just Karen's brand of petty, annoying but toothless, until 3 weeks ago, when her campaign turned sinister. At the monthly HOA meeting, which you missed due to a client deadline, Karen unleashed her opening salvo. Zoe, there to pitch a community Wi-Fi project, Liv texted you the chaos. Karen stormed the podium, waving a petition titled Operation Silence the Beast, claiming Muffin's relentless yowling was ruining her nightly meditation, terrifying her cat, Mr. Whiskers, and slashing property values by at least 4.2%. Her evidence? A grainy audio clip of dog barks that sounded like a stock sound effect, not Muffin's deep, soulful woof. The petition had 6 signatures: Karen, her unemployed cousin Larry, her cat, signed Mr. Whiskers, her book club friend Darlene, bribed with a lasagna, a neighbor she'd guilt-tripped, and, bizarrely, her gardener, who doesn't even live in Sunny Meadows. Mr. Thompson, the HOA president and a soft-spoken accountant with a passion for birdwatching, shut it down. Karen, we need verifiable evidence, not theatrics. Karen stormed out, slamming the community center door so hard a ceiling tile cracked. The next morning, Mrs. Delgado pulled you aside while you walked Muffin. Be careful, dear, she whispered, glancing at Karen's house. She's been knocking on doors, offering brownies and free lawn mowing to report Muffin's barking. Mr. Patel grumbled about Karen cornering him at his mailbox, demanding he sign a noise complaint. Zoe caught her snooping near your fence at dusk, binoculars trained on your backyard, muttering about gathering intel. You brushed it off? Muffin's been recovering from a sprained paw, spending most days napping on your couch, quieter than a monk. But Karen's obsession was growing, and tonight, with this fake cop pounding on your door, you realize she's not just petty, she's unhinged. Back to the present. Officer Jenkins is a walking caricature of authority. His badge, stamped Sunny Meadows Security, looks like it was printed on a 90s inkjet, the letters smudged and uneven. His eviction notice is a crumpled sheet of printer paper with HOA code 47B, excessive canine disturbance scrawled in red marker, the ink bleeding like a cheap tattoo. You crack the door, keeping Muffin back with one hand, his growls vibrating through your palm. There's no code 47B, you say, voice steady despite the adrenaline. Show me the rulebook. Jenkins blinks, sweat dripping down his temple, his too-tight uniform straining at the seams. I am the rulebook, he roars, thrusting the notice at you. The paper claims Muffin's documented barking has triggered immediate eviction, citing complaints from multiple residents. You scan it. Typos, misaligned text, a header that misspells Sunny Meadows as Sunny Meadows. It's a forgery, and a lazy one. You challenge him. Who are you? And where's your ID? Jenkins fumbles, patting his pockets, then mutters, left it in the patrol car. His radio crackles, and a voice, high-pitched, unmistakably Karen's, hisses, Larry, stick to the script. Make it scary. Larry? Your gut twists. This isn't a cop. This is Karen's hired goon, and she's directing this circus from across the street. You stall, asking to speak to Mr. Thompson. Jenkins snaps. I report to the board, not some desk jockey. He steps closer, brandishing a pair of plastic handcuffs that look like they came with a kid's police costume, complete with a toy badge. You've got 60 minutes, or I'm hauling you to HOA detention. HOA detention? The absurdity would be hilarious if your pulse weren't racing. You glance at Karen. She's pacing now, her binoculars trembling, her smirk fading as she senses trouble. The neighborhood's waking up. Porch lights blaze, doors creak open, and phones glow in the dark. Zoe emerges from her garage, phone raised, live streaming to the Sunny Meadows group chat. Yo, this dude's fake, she yells, zooming in on Jenkins' badge. It says property of Party City. The chat explodes, laughing emojis, gifs of Karen's no meltdown, and Mrs. Delgado typing. Karen's lost her mind. Mr. Patel, in his bathrobe, shouts from his porch, this is nonsense. That's no cop. Timmy, the 10-year-old from down the street, pedals up on his bike, yelling, he looks like my uncle after a costume party. Jenkins, rattled by Zoe's broadcast, steps forward, waving his handcuffs. You're obstructing HOA justice, he roars, but Muffin lets out a bone-rattling bark, deep and primal, and Jenkins stumbles, tripping over your garden hose. His clipboard flies into the grass, and you snatch it up. Tucked inside is a note in Karen's loopy cursive. Larry, make it terrifying. $150 bonus if they beg. Speaker in bushes. Crank it at 11 p.m. Speaker? Your blood boils. This isn't a prank. It's a conspiracy. You grab a flashlight from the porch and check the bushes by your fence. Sure enough, there's a Bluetooth speaker duct taped to a branch, its LED blinking faintly. You rip it free and hold it up like a smoking gun. This is Karen's evidence, you shout. The crowd gasps, phones raised, capturing every second. Zoe zooms in, her live stream hitting 600 viewers. She faked the barking, she yells. The chat goes wild. Busted. Karen's toast. Karen sprints across the street, her tracksuit flapping, shrieking. That's not mine. You planted it. But Zoe's already pulling footage from her Ring camera, showing Karen sneaking into your yard at 3:17 a.m., hoodie up, planting the speaker like a suburban spy. The neighbors close in, their whispers turning to shouts. Mrs. Delgado, clutching her rosary, demands, Karen, how could you? Mr. Patel shakes his fist, yelling, you've terrorized us for years. Timmy, still on his bike, chants, Karen's a liar. Jenkins, a.k.a. Larry, panics, his fake badge falling off and landing in a puddle. I didn't sign up for this, he mutters, backing toward his car. Karen grabs his sleeve, screeching, you idiot. You're ruining everything. The tension's electric. This is no longer about Muffin. It's about a neighborhood fed up with a tyrant. The crowd's a powder keg, phones raised, capturing Karen's unraveling. Zoe's live stream is a wildfire, the group chat flooded with memes and accusations. Mr. Thompson arrives, his Prius screeching to a stop, his birdwatching binoculars still dangling around his neck. He clutches the HOA rulebook, his glasses fogging with stress. Karen, he says, voice trembling but firm, this is fraud. You've violated every principle of this community. Karen, cornered, flails like a trapped animal. This is a witch hunt, she screeches, her mascara smudging. You're all jealous of my leadership. You step forward, holding the speaker. Leadership, you say, loud enough for the crowd. You faked evidence, hired a fake cop, and tried to evict me over a dog. The neighbors roar in agreement. Zoe plays the Ring footage on her phone, projecting it onto your garage door with a portable projector she keeps for movie nights. The grainy video shows Karen, unmistakable in her leopard print tracksuit, planting the speaker at 3:17 a.m., muttering, this'll teach them. The crowd gasps, then boos. Timmy, ever the opportunist, starts a chant. Karen's a fake. Karen's a fake. Jenkins, a.k.a. Larry, crumbles under the pressure. She paid me $400, he blurts, pointing at Karen. Said she'd sell my Camry and give me her husband's golf clubs if I scared him out. I'm just a roofer. The crowd erupts, and Karen lunges, screaming, you traitor. But she slips on the wet grass, landing in a sprinkler with a spectacular splash. Muffin, freed from the open gate, seizes his moment, charging Karen's new gnome, Lady Gnome-Lot, and sending it flying into the water. The gnome's head snaps off, and Karen's wail echoes as her tracksuit soaks through, her mascara running like a horror movie villain. The crowd roars with laughter, phones capturing every humiliating second. The Real police arrive, their cruiser pulling up silently, no siren needed. Larry, now in full panic mode, spills everything. Karen forged noise complaints, bribed her book club with casseroles to lie about Muffin's barking, and planted the speaker to frame you. Her motive? Revenge for the gnome incident and a delusional belief that Muffin was tanking Sunny Meadows' prestige. The cops cuff Larry, who's begging for a plea deal, and escort Karen to their cruiser for questioning. She resists, shrieking about HOA sovereignty, but slips again, landing in a mud puddle. Zoe's livestream hits 1,200 viewers, and the chat is a sea of fire emojis and justice gifs. But Karen's not done. As the police lead her away, she turns, her eyes blazing, and hisses, "This isn't over. I'll bury you all." The crowd falls silent, the threat hanging heavy. You glance at Zoe, who's still filming, and Mr. Thompson, who's clutching his rulebook like a lifeline. Karen's down, but she's not out. The war's far from won. The next morning, Sunny Meadows buzzes with gossip. Neighbors gather in driveways, rehashing the night's drama, while kids reenact Muffin's gnome chase with action figures. You're exhausted, barely sleeping after the chaos, but relieved. Karen's in hot water, Larry's in custody, and Muffin's curled up on his dog bed, oblivious to his hero status. Zoe stops by, showing you her livestream stats, 150,000 views and climbing. You're a legend, she says, tweaking her HOA Karen Files video. But the victory feels fragile. Karen's parting threat, "I'll bury you all," echoes in your mind. By noon, the other shoe drops. A glossy flyer appears in every mailbox, titled Sunny Meadows Truth Bulletin, printed on expensive cardstock. It's Karen's work, no question. The flyer accuses you of orchestrating a smear campaign against her, claims Muffin's a dangerous beast who's attacked multiple gnomes, and, wildly, alleges you planted the speaker to frame a devoted HOA leader. It ends with a call to vote for emergency HOA elections to restore order. Attached is a grainy photo of Muffin mid-bark, photoshopped to look like he's snarling at a child. The audacity is breathtaking. The neighborhood's divided. Most rally behind you. Mrs. Delgado organizes a Muffin Defense Squad group chat, and Mr. Patel offers to testify about Karen's bullying. But a small faction, led by Darlene and her book club, buys Karen's lies. Darlene, still stinging from her public shaming, goes door to door, spreading the flyer and whispering about your shady motives. Timmy reports seeing Karen's cousin Larry, out on bail, lurking near the community center, passing envelopes to Darlene. Zoe hacks into the HOA's email server, ethically, she insists, and finds a draft of Karen's next move. A surprise HOA meeting tomorrow, where she plans to present new evidence and demand your eviction. You call an emergency strategy session at Mrs. Delgado's house. The Muffin Defense Squad gathers. You, Zoe, Mr. Patel, Mrs. Delgado, Timmy, who insists on contributing, and even Mr. Thompson, who's finally fed up with Karen's chaos. Zoe pulls more ring footage, showing Larry delivering the flyers under Karen's orders. Mr. Patel reveals Karen once fined him $200 for a non-approved rosebush, which he's never forgiven. Timmy, with surprising insight, suggests checking Karen's garbage for evidence. She's notorious for forgetting to shred documents. The plan forms. Zoe and Timmy will stake out Karen's house for intel, while you and Mr. Thompson prepare a counter-presentation for the HOA meeting. That night, Zoe and Timmy, armed with flashlights and a GoPro, catch Karen in her garage, stuffing envelopes with more flyers and, shockingly, a forged police report claiming Muffin bit a delivery driver. The report's laughably fake, with Sunny Meadows PD misspelled as Sunny Meadows, but it's dangerous in the wrong hands. Zoe films Karen ranting to Larry. "If I go down, they all go down." Timmy, hiding in a bush, accidentally sneezes, and Karen nearly catches them, but they escape, hearts pounding. The HOA meeting is a circus. Karen, dressed in a power suit and fake tears, presents her evidence, the forged report, a doctored audio of Muffin growling, and testimony from Darlene, who claims Muffin lunged at her cat. The room's tense, with Darlene's book club nodding along. Then you take the floor, backed by the Muffin Defense Squad. Zoe plays her GoPro footage, exposing Karen's flyer stuffing and forged report. Mr. Patel recounts her years of bullying, his voice shaking with rage. Mrs. Delgado, in a mic drop moment, reveals she found Karen's unshredded notes in her trash, detailing her plan to destroy you. The crowd turns, booing Karen, and Darlene flees, muttering apologies. Karen, cornered, screams, "You're all sheep," and storms out, tripping over a chair in her haste. Karen's defeat at the HOA meeting should be the end, but she's a hydra. Cut off one head, and another grows. The next day, a cease and desist letter arrives from a shady lawyer, claiming you've defamed Karen and demanding $50,000 or she'll sue. The letter's on cheap letterhead, and the lawyer's name, J. Cornelius Fudge, sounds like a Harry Potter reject, but it's a scare tactic. Zoe traces the lawyer to a strip mall office linked to Larry's ex-wife, confirming it's another Karen ploy. The neighborhood's furious. Mrs. Delgado organizes a petition to countersue for harassment, and Mr. Patel hires a real lawyer, pro bono, to shut Karen down. The legal battle unfolds over 2 weeks, with Karen doubling down. She posts rants on the Nextdoor app, calling you a dog-worshipping anarchist and claiming the HOA's corrupt. She even hires a new ally, Dr. Brenda, a self-proclaimed pet behaviorist with a mail-order degree, who testifies at a second HOA hearing that Muffin's aggressive aura threatens the community. Brenda's report is a joke, citing Muffin's excessive tail wagging as evidence of latent hostility, but it sways a few holdouts. You counter with vet records proving Muffin's gentle nature, plus a surprise witness, the delivery driver from Karen's forged report, who confirms Muffin never bit him and loves belly rubs. The turning point comes when Zoe, digging through public records, uncovers Karen's biggest secret. She's been renting out her garage as an illegal Airbnb, violating HOA and city rules. The evidence, photos, guest reviews, and bank transactions, prove she's pocketed thousands while fining neighbors for minor infractions. Mr. Thompson, emboldened, calls a final HOA vote. The result is unanimous: a $15,000 fine, a permanent ban from HOA activities, and a formal complaint to the city for her Airbnb scheme. Karen's lawyer, Fudge, vanishes, and her Nextdoor account is suspended after Zoe reports her for harassment. Karen's house hits the market a week later, the for sale sign defaced with a sharp-drawn Muffin peeing on a gnome. Rumors swirl she's fled to a pet-free condo in a neighboring town, her gnome collection sold at a garage sale for pennies. Muffin becomes a local icon, with kids designing Muffin the Gnome Buster t-shirts and Zoe selling them on Etsy. Her live stream goes viral, hitting 200,000 views and earning her a journalism scholarship. You're the neighborhood hero, but the battle's taught you something deeper. A community's strength lies in its unity, not its rulebook. You're on your porch, the late afternoon sun bathing Sunny Meadows in gold. Muffin sprawled at your feet, gnawing a squeaky toy shaped like a gnome, his tail thumping lazily. The air feels lighter, freer, without Karen's binoculars stalking your every move. The neighborhood's healing. Mr. Thompson's new HOA rules limit fines and require evidence. Mrs. Delgado's knitting Muffin a hero dog bandana, and Mr. Patel's planning a Muffin Appreciation Day block party with ribs, a doggy cake, and a gnome-free zone sign for laughs. Timmy's selling lemonade to fund a Muffin statue, and even Darlene, chastened, apologizes with a homemade pie. Zoe stops by, her laptop open, editing her latest HOA Karen Files video. The title? The Fake Cop, the Dog, and the HOA Witch. She shows you the view count, 250,000 and climbing. Your channel's blowing up, she says, tweaking the thumbnail to feature Muffin mid-gnome chase. You reflect on the saga. Karen's fall wasn't just about a dog or a gnome. It was about power, control, and a community that stood together against a bully. Mrs. Delgado's courage, Zoe's tech savvy, Mr. Patel's grit, Timmy's sneaky stakeout. They all mattered. You faced the camera, Muffin's ears perked, the sunset glowing behind you. HOA Karen Files fam, what an epic saga. If this drama had you glued, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more wild stories. Drop your craziest HOA tale in the comments. Have you battled a Karen? Let's keep the files alive. Share this with your neighbors, your dog, your mailman. Let's hit 100K subs and make Muffin proud. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.